What up, YouTube, and stoners around the world? It's your boy, the Chew, and welcome back to the Bud Box. And today it's a little something different. This just the grow info right here. Grow info from Big Chew. If you guys wanted to hear it, it's called The Cure. We're going to go from the plant's end until you want to get your medicine to its highest peakest point for your customers, for your patients, for the people that's consuming your medicine. First step, plant's getting down at its end stage. Last month cycle before you pull down. You got it timed whether you're outdoor, indoor. You know when you're about to pull your plant about a month before you're about to pull it. Boom. All you got to do is give it straight water. Do the flush, gallons and gallons of water through your pots, through your soil, making sure all that nutrients is out of there by the time that you pull your plant. That's why you do it a month, because you want your plant to suck the water up. If you flush for one day, your plant obviously isn't going to flush, or for a week or two, it's not going to flush. It's not going to give it enough time to suck the water out. Now, if you're in a pot, you let the pot dry out. You let the plant suck up all the water in the pot. So when the soil is completely dry, that's when you want to cut and hang your plant. Next step. Now, if you want better tasting medicine, don't just cut your buds off the plant and throw them onto a rack and dry them. You want better taste, better quality in the long haul. For the long haul, if you harvested a lot or something, hang it from the branch. I know it'd be too hard to probably cut the main stalk and hang it upside down that way, or you could cut it in sections. But hang your plant 7 to 14 days, go back and check it. Now, good indication to know when your medicine is ready to go into the jar, you take the stalk that it's hanging on, which is the branch, not the stem from the bud, and walk up to it and snap it. If it doesn't snap and it just bends, then it's not ready. You want it to snap, a little crunch sound. Now, you can do it before then, if you want to leave your medicine for the long haul and have a little stickier product in the end, you can still pull it a little bit earlier from the snap and put it into the jar, and with the burp it will dry out a little bit more if you follow my burping methods, which we'll get into. But if you want to do it, and just seal it up, do your stuff, and do it 100%, wait until the branch snaps. Then cut up your bud, trim it up, throw it into a jar, follow the burping method. This is very important. This is getting the chlorophyll out of your medicine. This is going to make your medicine taste good, smell good, and it's going to have more appeal to it by doing this process. So you did all the steps. You flushed it. You cut your plant. You cut your branches, not the buds off the branches to throw them on a rack. Hung them upside down for at least 7 to 13 days. Not a long time, guys. And like I said, if you got a big plant, just cut the branches off and hang those. And then, like I said, go back, trim it up, throw it in your jar. Now you got it in the jar. This is the most important part, the burp. You guys see my burp video. You're going to seal the jar for 24 hours. You're going to go back to it after 24 hours, open it up for 2 to 3 hours, which is going to help the stuff not get mold, put oxygen in the jar, put oxygen to the buds, and it's going to help release that chloroform with that 24-hour lid on being sealed and then taken off. When you're doing this process, it's releasing the chloroform out of the buds, which is going to give it that stinky and that taste. All right, you do your burp. You do this for 3 to 4 days. After the plant, like I said, you get the snap in the branch. Buds are ready to go in the jar. You do your burp. Probably 3 to 4 days tops. Now you got it all burped in your jar. Take a joint, roll it up. Like I said, if it burns in a joint in a paper, then it's ready to be sealed up in your or it's ready to go in the jar. Is a good indication. How I like to tell when I want to put my medicine in the jar, I like it to be able to burn correctly in a paper first. That way I don't put it in too wet and I don't put it in too dry. I know if it burns in a paper right from hanging it off of the plant from that stalk after I snapped it, and I can roll up a paper with it and it burns perfectly fine, then it's ready. It's ready at that point to me. Because then when I finish my burping process, I can start consuming my medicine. Okay, so you do your burp. You do your burp for 3 to 4 days, which is going to release the chloroform out of the plant, put some oxygen in the jar. It's not gonna it's gonna help so you don't get no mold on your buds, just in case if they were a little bit wet. All right, now you can seal it up for like 30 to 60 days, guys, and open it up periodically. Now, when doing this process, you might lose your smell just for a second. You know, if it sat for 30 days with a lid on it and you go back and open to it, it might lose its smell a little bit. But a way you can bring that back into it is just open the jar for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to a half hour. Let the oxygen come back into the buds, and it should bring out the smells and the terpenes coming right out the jar. Now you can cure your medicine for 30 to 60 days. Um, I say 30 days is probably the best. I don't think it gets no like better quality after 60 days or longer term. 30 days in a jar after the burping process, your product's ready for the market. I did this video for the growers out there. That way you guys are getting the best out of your medicine. Like I said, if you follow these curing steps from the flush to the cut to the dry to putting it in a jar to doing every step correctly, you can have a product that is going to be good, you know, 6 months down the line in the jar. You will be, I, I would be proud of it to put it in front of somebody's nose, you know, because the smell and everything coming out of it, the taste, the high, everything's on point with your medicine at this point. Now you can put your stuff in a jar and let it sit. Like I said, I've had stuff sit for 6 months in a jar, 6 months in a jar, and it was even stinkier from when it was when it first went into the jar. It made it actually better on the long-term period of sitting and curing. So some strands are different. Some strands take longer to cure than others. And like you said, you guys can get an indication by that by just taking a little bit out and rolling one up. Take it a little bit out of your jar, like a gram, roll it up in a paper, see if it's got the right taste, the right high, the right smell for you before you want to, you know, completely take it out of a jar and throw it into a bag. So that's a good way you could tell, hey, my stuff's ready. It's got the funk on it like I want it. And what the jar does is it actually traps in the smell. So it makes the buds get even stinkier because all the stink is basically trapped in the jar, or the terpenes are all trapped in the jar in a little space and they can't breathe the air. So the air's gone out of the jar once it's sealed, so the stink just is basically circling around your nubs. You know, it's just sitting in the jar, it's getting stinkier and stinkier and stinkier because the smell has nowhere to go. So it toxifies the bud even more and makes it even more potent. So I wanted to give you guys a curing video. Like I said, it's all in the flush. It's all in about hanging it, drying it correctly. It's all in following the burping method. And then you can let your stuff sit. Like I said, I've seen stuff be ready in 2 weeks after the cure. You know, after the burp and the cure, stuff was ready at 2 weeks, and it was top notch at that point. So there was no need to leave it any longer, or leave it, you know, 30 to 60 days. Some strands are like that. All strands are different on their cure, how long they're going to take to bring out their best terpene profile. So just be patient with it, guys. But like I said, that burp is the most important part on the cure. You want the best out of your medicine. You're sitting on it for a long term. You want it to still stay oily, not dry out. Don't put it into a baggie. You know what I mean? Put it into a jar. A jar, once it's sealed up, it's going to hold those oils. It's going to hold those terpenes. It's going to hold the flavor. It's going to, you know what I mean, make it more stinky. Like I said, you want your stuff presentable. That way when you put it in front of someone's nose, they're like, woo! That boy's got that fire. And they're going to keep calling you back because you guys already know, you know, you got the fire, everybody's going to be calling. So this is a video for you guys. It's the Bud Box Big Chew. It's the cure. I said I would do it for somebody, so I'm here giving it to you guys. Like I said, 30-day flush. Boom. Boom, cut your branches off the plant. 7 to 13 days, hang upside down in a cool, damp place, basement, you know, if you don't have a temperature controlled place or a room that's about 60, 65 degrees. Next step, walk up to your stem, snap it. If it snaps, your buds are ready to go in the jar. And I'm talking about the main branch stem that your buds are hanging on. That's why I said cut a branch off. Don't snap from your bud to see if it snaps, off your plant, because then it's going to be too dry. You want the main stalk to snap a little bit. So like I said, 7 to 14 days, usually a good, 21 days hang. It depends on the size of the plant. Each plant's different because some plants are going to have more than others, and it's going to take a longer period to dry. But all you have to do to know when it's ready to put in the jars, like I said, take a paper, grab a bud, chop it up, roll it up. If it burns good in the paper and it's not going out, the cherry's not going in and out, in and out, in and out, then it's ready to hit the jar. Do your burping process, 30 days, sit, come back and open it up and see what you got. Like I said, you guys heard it here, right here on the bud box. Big Chew. It's the cure. I wanted to give it to you guys because I want you to have the best medicine going to your patients, as well as medicine going to the rest of the world. That way we can get some better quality and better product to the people, because that's what it's about. Living pain free, living positive. Light them if you got them. It's the bud box. It's the cure. I said I was going to do it. Here we are. We're out of here. Peace.